Hello, questions and answers. I'm looking at a very interesting stone here. Apophyllite. It's one of the psychic stones. It helps psychic connection. Okay, that's of the mind rather than empathic connection, which is all about feelings and of the heart. What's the question today, Ria? Because I think it links in with this stone.
It does indeed. So the first question today is, what are your views on telepathic communication?
Okay. Sometimes you might go to see someone on stage, a spiritualist, a magician maybe, someone that has very good telepathic ability, and they are very impressive. They can pick up mind-to-mind energy and then translate that energy and tell you what you're thinking, and it might seem very spiritual, but there is something of a boundary here, in our opinion. There's a very big difference between psychic communication or of the mind and spiritual communication or of the heart. Someone that's very, very psychic and can read minds might be spiritual as well, but equally they might not be. They might have developed their psychic centers but not developed their heart at all. So it's a bit of a mixed bag there. Sometimes you could be talking to someone and they might seem very in tune because they're reading you psychically, but that doesn't mean to say they're spiritual, and it doesn't mean to say they're coming from the right intentions. So that's one thing to look out for and to consider. It's the way that we use this psychic ability that denotes whether it's a spiritual activity, something that is worthwhile, or an empty activity that is coming from ego. I'm trying to think of an example, and the only thing I can think of is The Empire Strikes Back, Star Wars. This is a good example of when you might want to use mind-to-mind communication, bearing in mind that you're using it sparingly and you're using it when it's life and death situations or very serious situations. There's this one scene in The Empire Strikes Back where Luke Skywalker is hanging from an antenna that's jutting out from the bottom of the City in the Sky, I think it's called, and there's just no way out. There's, it's just a sheer drop, and he can't pull himself back up because the door's closed. So he is stuck, and with his mind, he communicates to Princess Leia that he's in danger, and she says, "We've got to go back," and she pinpoints where he is, and they save him. That's a good example of how to use telepathy. If you're in danger, you can use it in a very good way to keep yourself safe and to protect yourself. Now, there are obviously lesser ways to use telepathy that are still very important ways, something that's going to bring about a positive effect. But yeah, you would use it in a sparing way and in a spiritual way in order to protect yourself and in order to get messages to people that are possibly in danger or really need to have a message, rather than just using it willy-nilly, so to speak. There are two main ways of using the mind in a wrong way, and it's basically in spiritual terms. It's called either sending or scanning. Now, sending is when you use your telepathic ability to plant an idea in someone else's mind without them knowing, in order to get a desired effect from that person. That's obviously going to create a massive off balance, and that's not spiritual at all. It's manipulation. It's trying to control your environment. It's trying to control people around you. So that's absolute taboo. It's forbidden, spiritually speaking. It goes against all the laws of spirit. So sending, prohibited by spirit. But that's something that somebody could do that's very gifted psychically, if they were acting from their ego. Another thing that you can do psychically that's wrong is scanning. Now, scanning, as the name suggests, is to look inside someone's mind without their knowledge and without their consent, so that you can get the upper hand, so to speak. and that's very bad, and that also creates a spiritual off balance. It's not good at all. So scanning and sending prohibited by spirit. It's not a spiritual thing. So as I say, it's how you use your psychic abilities or mind-to-mind communication that denotes whether it's good or bad. Okay, so there we go. But I would like to add, for people that are possibly using their psychic gifts in a way that's ego-driven, every time you use a psychic gift like this, when you make these connections without people's consent, it lowers your natural spiritual protection. It just does, because your intention is not a good one, and that lowers your protection. So over time, other people will be able to access you. It's just a lose-lose situation. You just don't go into that sort of practice. Okay, so I hope that answers that question with a little bit of Star Wars. What's the next question?
The next question is, sometimes when I meditate, I'll receive messages which I don't think are for me. Can you throw any light on this?
Okay, that's interesting. I think this comes into two sections really. Sometimes when we're meditating, we pick up what would be a stray signal, a signal that's meant for someone else, or a signal that's coming from the noise energy that's all around us all the time. This can happen if we're a little bit too sensitive. We can pick up all sorts of stray signals. Think of this like, think of it as though you're a radio, and as a radio you're scanning through channels, and as you scan through channels you pick up all sorts of snippets of radio stations that you don't particularly want to hear until you get to your destination channel. So that can happen. That's quite common. How do you tell the difference? When you have a message that's for you, it creates a lifting sensation inside and you feel blessed in some way. You'll also get a sense of the energy of the divine coming through. Now everyone experiences this in slightly different ways. For me, it's upper stomach, solar plexus. There's a lifting sensation, and it comes with a high frequency, a high vibration, so you know that that message is for you, and you know it's coming from a good place. If the message comes and it's empty, there's no sensation to it, or there's a sinking sensation, then you know it's just a stray message, or it's coming from the noise energy that's all around you. So you would simply acknowledge it, but then disregard it. You only focus on the messages that give you a gentle lifting sensation inside, that are the hallmark of the message coming from a higher place, a good place, and it's intended for you. Okay, so that's the one thing that can happen. The second answer to this question is, sometimes in meditation you will receive a message that's not for you, and basically it's for somebody in your vicinity. It's a message for you to pass on in a wise and gentle way, something that will help the people around you. So yes, sometimes you'll get a lifting sensation, but you know the message is not for you, and in that instance the message can heal someone that's directly around you, or someone that's in your life, or someone that you're going to come into contact with over the next few days maybe. Maybe this person isn't as connected and wouldn't be able to get these messages, so you become like a conduit to pass on the message to that person to heal them. Okay, so that's a great blessing to be able to do that. Okay, so I hope that's answered the question, and I hope that has answered all the questions this month, Ria. Are there any more?
No, that's all for today.
Okay, I hope you've enjoyed questions and answers. I know I have. I'll speak to you next month. Please feel free to send in your questions and we'll do our best to answer them. Okay, have a great day. Bye for now.